welcome to our show, Jones Chen.
Nice to be here, Liam.
Yeah, Jones is like Indiana Jones, right?
Yeah, like Tom Jones, Indiana Jones.
And the last name is like Jackie Chan's Chan.
Yeah,
Wow.
like Jackie Chan. So,
do you watch any Olympics recently? It's just started in Paris.
yes, I have watched a few Olympics.
U.S. team
Programs.
U.S. they're pretty good. They're
Yeah,
pretty good.
yeah. We a close friend of ours, their son, coaches the women's beach volleyball.
Oh, they're pretty good. I think they have at least two pairs of players.
Yeah, Kelly Chen.
Kelly Chen?
Yeah, she's married to my close friend's son, and she's the wife that's playing on.
She's from Texas, right? Or California?
I'm not sure.
I think I saw her play.
Very tall, red hair.
Yeah, red hair.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
I
that's
think she's from
Kelly
Texas.
Chen. Yeah.
Oh, you know them?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, speaking of athletes, right? I think what matters is like what they eat.
Oh, absolutely.
Huh?
Absolutely.
They pay huge attention to what they eat, I guess.
I mean, without the proper nutrition for to allow our body to really function as pets, nutrition is so key.
Jones, you are a food scientist.
Yeah, I graduated from UC Berkeley with a major in food science, and my whole career have been dedicated to developing new products in food, in foods as well as supplements.
Nice. I think today we're gonna talk about this, but we're gonna save it for later. Right? We can talk about a little few things around us.
Yeah.
Like first off, why we have so many bubble tea shop in a sudden? I think it's just in the past few years, they flourished.
Yeah. It's really very good tasting, isn't it?
It is.
You know,
Lots of people couldn't start their day or couldn't live without them.
I could see lines out, where I live in Foster City. There's a very popular tea pump, and a lot of young kids stand in line for a very large boba drink.
Yeah. Is that good for them, though?
Well, actually, sugar, when one gets too much sugar is very addictive.
Right.
It people may not know it, but the craving for sweets is very biological. It's when you drink something that sweet, your body craves it because it's a form of energy. And your brain releases a chemical called dopamine.
Dopamine. Oh.
Yeah, the feel-good chemical. And it's the same. Dopamine gets released when you drink alcohol.
Yeah.
Dopamine gets released when you smoke a cigarette.
Yeah, and also after workout, right?
Well, I think the dopamine, that's endorphin.
Endorphin. Oh,
Yeah,
it's different.
after you. So this dopamine is pretty much the body can easily get addictive to a certain level of dopamine. Same thing when you do social media and when you do a text and you get a like, you get a dopamine hit.
Oh, social media addiction.
Yeah.
And the pornography, I guess.
Yeah, they all release dopamine.
Video game.
Yeah, and so when you consider that your body needs it for energy, and then at the same time it releases such a feel-good chemical in your body becomes very addictive to it. And here's how the cycle works, physiologically, is that when you take on a very high sugar food, you get a surge of sugar in your blood. then your body releases insulin, the hormone that lowers your blood level to get it into your muscle cells, into your liver, to lower your blood glucose. But when that surge happened, after about an hour or two, it actually drops below your normal blood level. And during that time, you start craving sweets again because your body senses with the insulin release, it lowers your blood glucose a little bit too much. And then your body senses you're low in sugar. So you start craving sweet again. And then you get another hit of boba drink.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened over and over again in a person's waking hour. So pretty much, you're programming your body to constantly crave that sweets.
So basically, the drinkers create a minor crisis for themselves to solve in later by drinking more.
Yes.
Wow.
It's a craving. It's a physiological craving.
But it's not only sugar, right? It's also about tea, because tea contains caffeine. It's a little bit addictive too, does it?
Yeah, I mean, that as well in terms of having that alertness that people crave.
Alertness,
Yeah, so it does stimulate. Yeah, so caffeine, you're right. It's that component of tea and sugar. You get the stimulant from the caffeine. It stimulates you.
How about milk? Because there's a big component of...
I think the milk just adds to the calories. So yeah. So imagine when you break down the boba tea, you get a hit of, depending, coffee or tea or espresso, you get a huge dose of caffeine. And one thing people don't realize is that the half-life of caffeine could be as long as 12 hours. So which means that, let's say you have a caffeinated boba drink at noon, okay? And let's say the boba drink has espresso, so maybe you get 200 milligram of caffeine, okay? The 12-hour half-life, meaning by midnight, you still have 100 milligram of caffeine in your body. And which affect your sleep level.
Yeah.
So you will not go into deep sleep, okay? You might wake up 2 or 3 a.m. At night and then can't go to sleep. And then guess what?
You get tired.
You wake up at 6 a.m. for morning to go to work, and you're drained. You didn't get enough sleep. So what do?
Drink coffee.
Exactly. You get another dose. And then you typically add milk and sugar to it. So in the very first morning, you get the hit of caffeine to get you started. Because of the fact that you couldn't get a good night's sleep. And then you also hit a load of sugar with that coffee, which again creates that sugar spike in your blood. And then it releases insulin. It brings it down too low. And then in 2 hours, you feel like, man, I need another sugar hit because I feel lack of energy. And you might get another boba.
Yeah.
And then the same thing over and over again. So I think that's an excellent point that the boba drink, contain caffeine that doesn't allow you to sleep well at night. So you're dependent on it in your waking hours to be alert. At the same time, you're taking in a lot of sugar, which causes that sugar craving throughout the day. And then you add milk to it, it just adds a lot of calories. You get calories and sugar and empty calories, basically.
Empty calories. How exactly does it mean? Empty. Why you have this empty before the calories?
Yeah, so I think part of why we eat, and I love the fact that I was born in Hong Kong.
Oh, which is probably one of the origin place that produce bubble tea.
Well, back then, I didn't have it as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we immigrated to the United States, and you know, didn't have that much money, and so we ate. And I remember, you know, we had our protein, our chicken, our meat. We get a lot of vegetables. I love being Chinese because have such a different array of vegetables. Greens to choose from, right?
Yeah.
And my mom always loved the fruit, the oranges after a meal.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, it's a pretty balanced diet because you get the protein.
Vitamin.
You get a lot of vegetables, which provide
fibers.
You know, fiber, vitamins, antioxidants, you know, and a little bit, you know, and rice.
Right.
And the key was that because you ate the protein and the vegetables and your right rice together, all that that combination doesn't allow you to have a very high sugar spike because of all that. Now, if you ate white rice by itself, and I don't think any people really just eat
it's just not enjoyable at all.
No.
How can you eat that alone?
That combination lowers what they call the glycemic index, how much it raises your blood level. So having the protein and the fat and the fiber of the vegetable together allow us to dampen that sugar spike. But in this day and age, when you just drink a bubble drink, all you get is calories and sugar. All the negative aspect without the positive effects of protein.
I can see a little bit why. Let's analyze this a little bit. Because here, I think we live in a more capitalistic way, right? I mean, those bubble shop, where did they learn their business secrets or business model? I think, come on, Starbucks had been doing this for decades. And they are pretty successful, and they can get really reliable customer base, right? The people just keep coming because, like we just talked about, people cannot give up this habit. Basically, they are hooked up. So bubble tea can do the same. Then they even taste better. Yeah. And they provide the same social value to the community, right? Where people gonna meet, they meet at a coffee shop. Now more people shift into bubble tea shop. Same deal, but the Chinese meal, it actually takes so much effort to make one. Just let's say you have veggies, you have a rice. You have some fish or protein, but it's like separate 5 dishes per meal. It needs a homemaker's dedicated life to make Chinese meal daily, right? It's just so much work. You need to cook veggie and cook meat, make chicken delicious, right? It's just not easy as okay, you marinate the chicken and you just deep fried it. Mix some, what's that called, bread on top.
Breading,
yeah. That's just so much easier, especially in fast food chain, right? They just pipeline these things and they have all the things already processed and packed, and they just make it so cheap, so accessible, and so convenient. But in the same time, it probably produce more problems.
Yeah. I think one of the things that, especially in Chinese food, that I really appreciate is the diversity.
Mm-hmm.
That in one meal, you get a pretty balanced diet of protein, whether it's seafood, chicken, beef, not locked into one protein source, but multiple protein source.
They do have difference, right? They are different.
Yeah,
right?
Because, for instance, beef, that's the only source where you can get B12 from.
B12.
Yeah, so you need B12 for blood flow, making your blood cells healthy, for DNA repair. And that's the only source. It's really from beef.
So B12 is not a vitamin. It's you mean protein B12 or?
B12 is a vitamin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you get that from animal sources.
I see.
So you don't get that from vegetables, but you get that from animal sources like beef, chicken. So you have protein, iron. The iron from the beef is an excellent source of iron compared to like vegetables.
Yeah.
So we have the protein that offer specific nutrients that you don't get in other food groups. And then you have vegetables, a whole array of different vegetables that has fiber. You need fiber for colon health. Fiber that lowers your cholesterol. So fiber is really important. You have that in the vegetables along with all the vitamins and iron and minerals that's also coming from vitamins. So you get that vegetable, and then you have the rice, and we enjoy white rice, but when you complement with a full meal, all the negative aspect of white rice is reduced by having a balanced meal. You don't get the sugar spike as much as if you just purely eat white rice, but no one eats purely just rice for a meal unless you're really poor. So that complement really balances it out. So unlike American food, it's a lot more refined sugar, refined oil. And
flour too, right? Flour.
Flour. I mean, any usually for fast food, you don't get the fruit and vegetables nutrients from it. You get too much of the fat. You get too much of the salt. You get too much of the sugar in fast food. That's causing a problem. Just too much calories, very dense calories in fast food.
The reason people love to go because when we're hungry, those things can instantly feel very satisfying.
Oh,
too, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because for us to survive, there's three things that the body craves for survival. Sugar for energy. Salt. You need salt to stay alive for electrolyte balance, so you need that. And then fat for survival. You want to put a certain amount of fat so that when you don't get a meal, you have that to rely on. So those things, the salt, sugar, and fat, your body craves. Unfortunately, fast food offer all three of these things at a very high amount. So your body just loves it. It just loves it. And without having all the other essential nutrients that come along with fruit and vegetables, that's the part that really is missing. The fiber, the other vitamins and nutrients from fruit and vegetables.
So by your estimation, what's the percentage of fast food in the whole food industry? I mean, catering restaurant in this country. What's the percentage of fast food?
I don't have a specific number, but I would say majority.
Majority.
Yeah,
over
majority.
50, right?
And because I think it's very conducive to the lifestyle, to our fast-paced lifestyle. The art of cooking, taking time to shop in the food market.
And it's just become more expensive. I mean, it's the shopping, the design, the cooking, the manpower. It's just, and it needs the skill level. It's just different, right? In order to make great meal, it's so many training.
Oh, yeah. I mean, time. It takes time to prepare. I mean, I am sure many of us remember our parents going to the food market to even buy a live chicken.
Yeah, they would just pick, right? They
would pick the live chicken, live fish, bring it home, clean it up, and then cook it because it tastes better.
They do differ, right? And those very experienced shopper, like lots of grandma, grandpa, right? They have time and they have the eyes, right?
Yeah.
They even pick the fruit and the veggies. They literally hand-pick them.
Hand-pick, that's right. Fresh from the vine. And for instance, when you go to a farmer's market, you pick a tomato. Mm-hmm. It's sweet, it's red. You go to the supermarket and you pick a tomato. There's no taste.
Right. It's really different. It's a really
and
different.
Then the difference is one is grown on the vine, and they pick it just right so that it has all the vitamins and sugar content, so it tastes great.
Yeah.
You go to the supermarket, they have to make sure that they have a long shelf life so it doesn't spoil. So really what they do is they pick the tomato green, they put it in a warehouse.
Yeah.
And then when it's time to get to the supermarket, they gas it.
Ripe it up.
To artificially ripen it. So you don't get the same nutrient content or the flavor. It looks like a tomato, but it tastes like cardboard. There's nothing, So when it comes to processed food, in many ways that we don't get as much of the essential nutrients we need, and we just get too much sugar, too much salt, sodium, and too much fat, too much calories. So basically all the things to cause obesity, cause diabetes, hypertension. So all those three things, with the onset of fast food, you could see a tremendous rise of those three things: diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, obesity.
But that's we used to call it city problem, or city disease. It's just because the population is so concentrated and the people just do all kinds of different jobs. We are assigned by the society, and you just don't have time to prepare your food, and you don't have time to pick your food. So you feed on what they provide you. And those businessmen surely want to more margin of their profit, so they have to have long shelf time. So then another perspective is, if you're wealthy, then you have time. Then you have resource to maybe send people to buy the freshest thing.
You have your personal chef.
Right.
Or personal nutritionist. or
Yeah.
you buy supplements. That's why supplement is, in the U.S. is over a $50 billion business, because people do see that they want to have vitality, they want energy,
Longevity.
they want, be feeling good and take ownership of their health, because food is medicine.
Right.
Food is medicine.
That's the very essence of Chinese medicine, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Food as medicine.
Food as medicine. And that's known for many, many
years, maybe.
Thousands of years.
Yeah.
You are what you eat.
Right.
You are what you eat. And unfortunately, in our lifestyle needs today, we're looking for convenience food that we can drive through.
Mm-hmm.
And because we don't have time to prepare meals or have time to select the right portions for optimal diet. So we relied on
supplements.
Supplements to do that, which is, important.
But does it work?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I came from the supplement industry. And one of the reasons why I got into it is that our lifestyle today we don't get all the essential nutrients, all the vitamins that we need on a daily basis. Let me pick one. Vitamin D. Vitamin D. For the longest time, people thought that you need vitamin D for bone health. Cricket, And past 20 years, we have begin to understand better vitamin D, that yes, it provide important for bone health, but also it is the master regulator for immunity. So you need that to have strong immunity. We're also finding out that it's also important for cancer, anti-cancer. It reduces the risk of cancer as well. Breast cancer, colon cancer. So it plays not only for bone health, it becoming a master regulator for immunity. Unless you get vitamin D, your gene expression for immunity is closed. Mm-hmm. Okay, you don't get the expression for gene for immunity, so you have suboptimal in immunity. And I would say that for most people, almost 90% of individuals are suboptimal in vitamin D, because now people stay indoor more.
Less sun.
Even when they go out, they put sunscreen on. And so especially during the winter months, people do not get as much vitamin D. And it also affects your mood too. So that one simple vitamins, plays such an essential role for
But so many
health.
of them, like even you to go to Costco, look at the shelf. It's like they have a special zone for that thing.
Yeah, it's a huge business because people realize that they need that added insurance to make sure that they have all the key essential nutrients in the diet. Because, for instance, I'll just pick one, magnesium. I would say 40% of the people are low in magnesium. And if you're low in magnesium, you can get headaches, migraine. And what do people do when they get migraines? They go to the doctor and get some drug for
pain relief,
acetaminophen, or stronger to treat their migraine. But it could simply be because you're low in magnesium. Another symptom of low magnesium is insomnia. You cannot sleep well. You don't have sound sleep. So what do people do? They'll go see a doctor to get a sleep drug. ambient, to take care of that. And then another symptom of low magnesium is irritability, all the way to depression. And what do people do? They'll go see a doctor.
Antidepressant.
They put on antidepressant. And then the other aspect is low energy. You don't have to get up and go. You feel always tired. Mm-hmm. And what do people do? They drink coffee or Red Bull. Mm. So all those state one in can simply because the person doesn't get enough magnesium in their diet.
Are those problems connected to the mental state we are in too? Like the pressure we have in modern society and the anxiety, and also maybe the thing we believe, like the mind, right? Because we need some principles or values or some great story to orient our life, like what exactly is goodness, how you behave, how you treat other people. Do you think those things also add up to the problems we are facing?
Certainly, we are living in very stressful conditions, very fast-paced, a lot of stress.
Especially election year. Come on.
Election year, yes. When you look at relational problems, high stress at work, it just become all the activities we put in our lives, even for children, the pressure of getting into UC Berkeley.
Yeah.
People face tremendous amount of stresses in their life. And if you don't have a strong nutritional foundation so that it enables your body physically and mentally able to handle the stress, if your body is already weakened, that stress further aggravates that situation. But at the very least, with minimum effort, by having these key essential nutrients to make sure your body is strong, then I would say chances are people would have better ability to handle their stress.
I see.
It's our body is so important to be able to make choices. Like, for instance, if we have too much fat, too much refined oil, and we eat that, that extra oil in our body is prone to oxidation, and it generates free radical in our body, that excess refined oil. So that oxidation is actually, in a way, causing our body to rust inside. Like when you put metal outside in the elements, and the sun, air causes to rust, And the same thing is happening in our body when we have too much fat, when we have too much, in our system, when we're prone to all these pollutions and stress. It causes that oxidation inside of us that compromise our bodily function. Yeah. So having strong antioxidant coming from fruit and vegetables allow us to protect ourselves from the inside out.
Yeah. If we have a middle class income, right, we still have choice. It's like nobody's life is easy, but you can try to manage. Like, okay, I would just do this more and have more healthy food. You can make the choices. But lots of underprivileged people, they don't have choices.
That's right, Liam.
Let's say homeless people.
Exactly.
I just wonder, do you have any information what they are eating?
That's a great question. in the Bay Area, when a person is hungry, there are a lot of programs that one can go to get food. You go to a local food shelter, food pantry, churches, they provide meals. But unfortunately, many of the food that they get are low-cost processed food. Low-cost processed food. And going back to how, detrimental when your whole diet is just fast food, it causes a lot of health issues. So people do get fed, but they don't get proper nutrition. So I think they are very vulnerable because they are living in highly stressful conditions.
Definitely.
When you don't know when the next meal will come, when you don't have a housing.
Yeah, you don't have a shelter over your head. Anything is so real. I mean, we read weather forecast. It's like, raining and windy, and it's going down. But we don't feel threat, right?
That's right.
But they are everything. It just hit them directly.
Yeah, they face so much stress, mental, physical stress. That's why I designed a nutrition bar specifically for those in need so that they would be able to get nutrition. And it's designed so that the nutritional profile of the bar is designed for high stress conditions. We have along with 20 vitamins and minerals, we also have a bioactive in there that's clinically proven to boost immunity, energy, and mental clarity under highly stressful conditions. Because I think one of the things that we want to do is each serving of the bar represent a stepping stone towards health and wellness, allow them to be on a path towards healthy living and productivity.
So that's a product you produce?
That's right. It's called the Thess bar.
What that name means, Thess?
That's a great question. That's inspired by a verse in the Bible, 1 Thessalonians 5:23, where it talks about God wanting us to be whole, mind, body, and spirit.
I saw those exact words here.
Yeah, that's right. That's what the inspiration comes.
Renewing your mind, body, spirit.
And we want to, through this bar, provide nourishment so that people can power through the day. Because a lot of them may not have, may miss a meal, and having a bar allow them to bridge not having a meal and allow them to power through the day. And then second, on the wrapper, there's a QR code that offer messages of gospel hope, the good news, so that people can power through life.
Here.
Yeah, knowing that God loves them. And then the third thing is that when they scan the code, they can fill out a questionnaire if they want to have more support. And it goes to a local church within the area code so that they will get support and connection. Because when you're homeless, you fade in the background. People don't notice you anymore.
Yeah.
People walk by you.
Yeah, people tend to avoid them, actually.
They don't feel human. They're not recognized. And we want to help people be able to power through their loneliness and despair by having connection from a local church. So to tell them, to remind them that, hey, you are valued.
But have you ever talked to those people and get some feedback on
Oh,
this?
yeah.
Huh? What did they say?
One gentleman, and I always keep this in my car.
Oh.
So when I at an intersection with a person holding up "I'm hungry" sign, I give a bar to them. And one gentleman got the bar, and he had it before. Someone gave the bar to him
really?
another time. And he goes to me, "I love this bar. It tastes good and makes me feel great." Because when you're in a situation where your body is void of nutrients, and then you get nutrients, your body respond.
That's definitely, it has some difference. Just like you said, empty calorie with unempty calorie.
So when body sense that, oh man, I'm getting a nourishment, it revitalizes it.
He said that. Yeah. I'm glad for him.
Makes me feel good.
Right.
And other gentleman that I spoke with down at Tenderloin, he had it.
Oh, Tenderloin.
Yes.
Wow, that's we call it ghetto, huh?
Yeah, the concentration of homelessness and drug use in the Tenderloin. And one gentleman, he lives in a tent in the Tenderloin, and he got the bar. And one of the things that the bar is designed is that many of them don't have teeth anymore living on the street because
drug, right?
Drug, and you don't get the nutrients like vitamin C. Over time, when you don't have essential nutrients, you just start losing, teeth.
How old is it?
Oh, probably in the 40s.
Wow, that's just so sad.
One thing, one statistic is that 10% of the time, people that are homeless eat out of a garbage can. 10% of the time.
Oh, it's just so sad.
And the average life expectancy for someone living on the street is 50 years old. 50.
Wow.
That is like living in the late 1800s life expectancy.
Yeah.
But for a homeless, 50 years because the tremendous stress of living in that out on the street. So, yeah, one person had it, and it's like, oh, I eat this in the morning.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel good for the rest of the day.
That's great. That's great. I mean, it's not, we cannot simply just seems to help them go back to the track they used to. But incrementally, right? I think people can do something, just make their life a little bit easier.
Yes,
So
exactly.
I think eating definitely can contribute very significantly.
Yeah, like I mentioned, if you're just low on one of them, you get chronic fatigue. If you're low on one vitamins, like B1, you can be chronically fatigued. You may not feel like eating anymore. You have irritability and depression. You have low immunity. And you cannot think straight.
Yeah. Then they are more prone to more drugs, right?
More
to
drugs.
Abuse themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And, imagine in that state of how do you go on an interview when just nutrition by itself makes you feel not have the energy or the confidence or the right state of mental being and thinking to go on an interview.
Yeah, and then they become more dangerous too. I mean, right? Like irritability, right? If they are so angry, so resentful, then what happened to the other people?
Exactly. And for pennies a day, of getting the right nutrients in. We have commercials. Have you ever seen the Snickers commercial? When the person's really angry and irritated, and the minute they eat a Snickers bar, they come down and become so nice, right? They call it hangry.
Hungry.
When you're hungry, it causes your mood to be angry,
That's
right?
true,
They call it hangry.
Yeah.
And it just shows you the power of nutrition.
How much of the cost of each bar? I mean, for those big name producers, right? Those big food companies, they surely can make the cost really low. But I don't think you are that big yet, right? So it must take something to make those things.
So food companies design their food for profitability.
Yeah, mass. It's like a mass production.
And this bar, we purposely created as a nonprofit because we want to get the bar to as many people as we can that are poor and afflicted. So our purpose is to provide nutrition to the poor. And a bar like this would cost like $3 in a grocery store. But we're providing...
That's a retail price, right?
Yeah, for a bar like this would be $3 that you go to a store. That's about the price. But we're offering it for $1.40 to shelters, to food pantries, for the purpose of helping them nourish their clients. Individuals can purchase a case on our website, www.thessbar.org. They could order a case, keep it in the car, share it with your friends. You could eat it, share it with a person on the street when you see them in an intersection. I think all of us, need to give back, to show compassion and kindness whenever we can, because I think mentally it's very rewarding when you know that you can, just a little bit of action can help someone take a step forward to a healthier and more productive version of themselves.
Where do you get your fund, though? Like a nonprofit, you need money to run the operation too.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Do you really can... I mean, the cost of this is more than $1.40. That's...
Yes.
Huh?
But we purposely want to make sure it's available to as many people as possible for shelters and churches. They have very low budget. So we want to make sure that we can provide to them as much as we can.
How do you market this? Like just by outreach to the churches and
word of mouth. We just started about a year and a half ago, so we still got a long ways to make our brand known. But to your earlier question, we are relying on donations. People can purchase the product, or they can sponsor a product. Like, for instance, if River of Life has a wonderful food pantry ministry, and, someone out there in your radio talk show, if they have the means, they could sponsor a whole pallet to River of Life. So that they can provide it to those that's coming through the drive-through for groceries and food.
I thought I heard like Francis Chan, Pastor Francis. He knows this, right?
Oh, yeah. He actually, when I first felt the calling to nourish the impoverished, I really didn't know how to start. And Francis Chan was able to really help me provide directions and was the initial incubator for this idea.
Wow, yeah. He's a very charming man, and he once was here in the River of Life and attended one of the events.
Yes.
I think Together Stronger, or whatever the name is about to send a message to the trend of Asian hate at that moment years ago.
Yeah, I think he's, one of those pastors that not only talk about living a godly life, but actually shows it. He challenges people to, like, if you love the Lord, you need to love the poor. And what are you doing about it? So I love the way he kind of apply his faith into action.
You share the same last name, I guess.
Yeah, well, at some point we went back his ancestor-wise in the same village, maybe.
How's he doing?
He's doing really well. He's he lives in East Palo Alto, and the reason why he's living there is really wanting to pour into that community, which comprised of a lot of low income.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, East Palo Alto used to be one of the murder capital of the world, of the nation. At one point, it was very violent, and I think he's trying to revitalize that community.
Yeah, I think same people, another group of people, they're doing things there, like charter school and other things.
Yeah, charter school, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so thank you for coming. And do you have anything to add on to our talk? Feel free to share it.
So I just want to remind your listeners that when they see someone in the street, to think twice about looking away, but think of a way to provide acts of kindness, because they are someone's daughter or son. They are someone's father or mother. They are people.
Yeah, they are human beings. And I do think lots of people are willing to help, but they are also concerned about if you give them money.
Yes, that's
they're
right.
probably going to buy drug and alcohol to abuse them more. So if they have food, they usually just give them the food. But like we talked about previously, if you give them some fast food, that's probably... It's not the most helpful way to...
That's right.
Right? So if this bar, as you said, can provide a more solid nutrition dose to them, right? That's much better choice.
That's right. That's the reason why it was developed, is to...
Now I see your point, I
a
think.
practical and simple way to reach out to the poor.
Yeah. Thank you for doing this. And
it's a God thing. So I just feel honored to be in a position to use my skills to give back.
Yeah. God bless you, and God bless all of us.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.